Hello, this is Alessandrina with Dexter and Alessandrina. And today I wanted to talk about wantingness and desires and ways in which there are limitations to our wantingness and desires. And what I mean by that is that we may imagine or believe or feel that if we have what we want, what we desire, that we'll be happy or that we'll feel any number of ways. And oftentimes it's not actually true or real, meaning that what we've learned, what we've been conditioned into believing uh, our wants and desired would essentially generate as feelings and emotion doesn't necessarily happen. And the reason for that is that oftentimes the wantingness and the desires come from a sense of lack or separation from that which we feel we want. And if we're in a state of lack, energetically feeling lacking, in a state of separation, energetically feeling like we're separate from that which we want to be connected with or want to be one with, we can then have the experience of having this union and having this sense of abundance and appreciating deeply the union and the abundance that is because we're in a state of lack. So that state of lack and separation, which is illusion, does not give us the experience of being in a state of union and wholeness and oneness and abundance. So the reason I'm bringing this up, and I've been really meditating on that internally within myself, and I had a wonderful conversation with a friend about this whole process of wanting and desire and ways in which that wanting and desire keeps us really in cycles of disappointment, feeling dissatisfied, feeling in lack. And so the process of becoming aware of that cycle that is really fed by fear of lack or the illusion of lack. It's wonderful to become aware of that cycle because it gives us the potential to step out of that cycle. Now, sometimes imagining ourselves no longer wanting or desire things can feel a bit scary, can feel a little bit like, well, I might be bored, I might feel pain, right? A lot of our wantingness and desire comes from actually trying to avoid pain, our aversion to pain and to feeling pain. And so the moment that we say, well, I'm going to work on breaking the cycle of being addicted to wantingness, to wanting and to desire, that can feel very scary or essentially overwhelming, because we may then feel like if that's to happen, then I'm going to just be left with my pain and have no way of not feeling pain and feel very out of control. And because we have a natural aversion to pain, just feel like not a very inviting or enjoyable process. And when we go into that reactive process mentally and emotionally of feeling like, well, if I don't have what I want and I don't have what I desire, then I'll feel pain, we may miss the opportunity to really recognize that actually when we're in that cycle of wantingness and desire, we're actually in a cycle of suffering because there is no way, first of all, that if we're in lack, whatever we get, we're going to actually feel the way that we imagine we feel, and that the pain that we're trying to avoid is not going to be there. And in addition to that, when we're stuck in that cycle of wantingness, it's endless, meaning that we cycle from one thing that we imagine is going to bring us happiness and a certain feeling, a certain energy, a certain emotion, and then we get there and it doesn't. Because again, it was something that we were not familiar with and we didn't know how it would really feel. We were conditioned into thinking that it would feel a certain way. So when we get there, it doesn't feel like that, or it's momentary, and then the next thing comes, and then the next thing comes, and then the next thing comes, and now we're a slave to our own cycle of desire and wantingness, and we're stuck. And then it leads to conflict, it leads to us being at odds with people or with situations, circumstances, feeling dissatisfied, feeling disappointed, feeling victimized, feeling entitled, feeling ungrateful. And so it doesn't help. Now, it doesn't mean stop wanting the things that you want. It doesn't mean that you can't have things that are pleasurable and enjoyable and that you can benefit from and learn from and grow from. It simply means that if you step out of that cycle and appreciate and begin to receive and begin to really cultivate a deep sense of gratitude in regards to everything that you receive in your life, then you are transcending the energy of lack that is leading to the wantingness and that is leading to the desire and that is keeping you in a cycle of suffering when you're not getting what you want and what you desire. And so through that gratitude, through that shift in perspective, through that receiving, through that cultivation of abundance in the real sense, meaning not through the accumulation of receiving what we want and continuing to cultivate what we want, really just receiving what we do have and continuing to invite this receiving and this gratitude for receiving, then a shift happens in our system. And now we have a greater sense of peace and equanimity towards all things. And now we really begin to receive, not from lack, we begin to receive from appreciation and with a deep sense of gratitude, and that shifts our energy. And usually when we receive in those ways and we're not tied to that cycle and not in the cycle of constantly looking at what we don't have and wanting more and desiring more, then we are in a state of peace and we are in a state where we're truly receiving and appreciating everything we're receiving, and we receive more and more because we pay attention to that. Our focus shifts from I don't have and I want and I'm dissatisfied and I'm disappointed to actually I receive and I feel grateful for that. And therefore, we're starting to see more and more of what we are receiving and feeling more and more grateful for that. And that really changes our energy. And that feels good. And that is a process of really grounding in ourselves and in humanity a sense of appreciation and gratitude, and instead of being in lack of abundance. And so realizing that there is abundance, and it's just that perspective and that the prior limitations that we've inherited through conditioning, familial conditioning, ancestral conditioning, sometimes also past life conditioning that we've inherited, and that keeps us stuck in that loop. So I invite you to look through this cycle, to look through that process, to understand it, to dismantle it, to free yourself from it, and to really learn to appreciate and to feel grateful for what you do have. And we do have a course on gratitude that might be helpful in that process of transition. So I will be adding that in the comments to this video so that you can check it out if that's something that's of interest to you, if that's something that is of help to you, if that shift in perspective can help you really transcend the process, the cycle of suffering that comes with wantingness and desire, then you can check it out if that's something that that would help. Sending you much love and wishing you a most wonderful day.